Y'all, stop whatever you're doing. Because what just went down in the world of hip-hop heartbreak makes Tristan Thompson's cheating scandals look like bedtime stories. Lil Scrappy, yes, Mr. Crunk ain't dead himself, just collapsed emotionally on social media in a way that has fans screaming, "Is this a man in love? Or a PR stunt gone wild?" We're talking confessions, tears, IG lives at 2 a.m., and a desperate, borderline poetic cry for Bambi to take him back. But wait, is this genuine remorse or just a platinum-level manipulation strategy? Has Scrappy really turned a new leaf? Or is he trying to spin the block with a sob story after the receipts already aired on national TV? And where is Bambi in all this? Quiet, unbothered serving looks and not responses, while Scrappy's breaking down like an overheated Toyota in July. She's out here building businesses and minding her edge control. But behind all the crying and public begging lies a story so messy, so chaotic, and so damn dramatic, it'll make Mona Scott Young grab her popcorn. Buckle up, because we're about to unpack the scandal, the meltdown, and the one question everyone's asking, is this love? Or just a love bomb with a camera crew? Asterisk, the meltdown began like most reality TV disasters do, with a vague post, a blurry Instagram story, and fans spiraling into conspiracy mode. Lil Scrappy didn't just wake up and decide to beg for Bambi back. Nah, this wasn't some casual I miss her moment. This was a full-blown emotional collapse, performed live and unfiltered, in front of millions, crying in hotel rooms, mumbling cryptic quotes like a bootleg guru, and doing shaky late-night IG lives where his Wi-Fi lagged harder than his emotional maturity. And what sparked the whole thing? A single blurry photo. One paparazzi flash. Bambi seen stepping out in downtown Atlanta with a mystery man. That was all it took. Scrappy's world cracked open like a dropped iPhone. Suddenly, he was online spilling his guts, talking about loyalty, talking about real love, saying he never stopped loving her. Sir, weren't you just on Zeus Network throwing dollar bills at your homegirl in a hot tub? Make it make sense. But this wasn't just about jealousy. This was a man unraveling under the weight of his own decisions. Let's take it back, because before the apology tour began, there was a whole timeline of chaos that built up brick by brick. Scrappy and Bambi weren't just your average love and hip-hop couple. They were the certified blueprint of reality show, romance and ruin. The high-profile lovers whose relationship was more turbulent than Atlanta weather in July. And while the world watched them exchange vows, kisses, and curse words on national television, what we didn't see was the silent implosion happening behind closed doors. Sources close to the couple claim things started cracking months before the official split. Scrappy had allegedly been moving funny, according to one anonymous crew member. Late nights at strip clubs alone, questionable DMIs to video vixens, and disappearing acts that lasted longer than his last mixtape promo. It wasn't just whispers in the streets, it was full-blown speculation plastered across blogs and timelines. Meanwhile, Bambi Queen composed herself, wasn't reacting. She was building. Focused on her brand, her kids, and her next business move. But that silence, oh, it was loud, and Scrappy. He hated every second of it. For a man who thrives on attention and impact, Bambi's stillness was a thunderclap. And the more she ignored him, the more erratic he became. Emotional texts, drunken voicemails, cryptic IG captions. At one point, he even posted a screenshot of an old message from Bambi that read, "I believed in you." Fans didn't know whether to cry or cringe. Then came the Instagram Live. The one that sent the internet into a frenzy. Scrappy sat in a dimly lit room, eyes puffy, voice cracking, talking directly to the camera like he was on some unscripted therapy session. "I messed up," he admitted. "I ain't never should have let her walk away. She held me down when nobody else did." It was the kind of raw confession that made half the internet say AU, and the other half scream boy, BYE. And just when people thought that was the emotional peak, boom and tore Mama D. Because of course she did. You thought this saga was going to unfold without the royal commentary of the Queen of the South herself. Absolutely not. Mama D hopped online faster than you could say in that order and dropped her own thoughts about the situation. According to her, Scrappy was lost without Bambi, and the breakup had left him spiraling. She claimed Bambi was the best woman he ever had, and hinted very heavily that other women in his life just weren't built to handle his kind of love. But even with Mama D riding the reunion train, Bambi didn't flinch. No response, no reposts, no shade. Just vibes and flawless selfies. And that, more than anything, sent Scrappy into overdrive. Because the silence wasn't just silence anymore, it was a statement. It said, "You had your chance." It said, "I'm not entertaining your mess." It said, "This time, I mean it." But Scrappy, he couldn't accept it. A vacation throwback here, a candid moment there. One day, he posted a clip from Love and Hip Hop, a moment where Bambi looked at him with those big brown eyes, full of hope, and captioned it, "I'll never forget what we had." Fans went feral. Some were rooting for him, others dragged him. One follower wrote, "You should have thought about that before you treated her like an option." Another posted, "Y'all only love us when we're gone." And honestly, they weren't wrong. By this point, the streets were divided. Team Scrappy believed in redemption. They saw a man, broken and vulnerable, trying to make things right. They quoted Bible verses and tweeted things like "God restores." Meanwhile, Team Bambi was like, "Nah sis, stay gone." They shared clips of her glowing, thriving, leveling up without him. It was a digital tug-of-war, and Scrappy, he kept fanning the flames. One night, during a club appearance, he told the DJ to cut the music. Then he grabbed the mic and said, "If you see this, Bam, I love you. I always have. I always will." The crowd lost it. Some cheered, some booed, a few filmed it for TikTok. The moment went viral by morning, and every gossip blog from the Shade Room to the YouTube streets had an opinion. And yet, through all the noise, Bambi remained centered. She didn't clap back, didn't post a cryptic quote, didn't even blink. Instead, she continued doing what she does best, elevating, posting about her businesses, sharing moments with her kids, staying locked in with her tribe. But for Scrappy, the silence was unbearable. He wasn't just losing a woman, he was losing the one person who saw him, flaws and all, and still chose him. And now that she wasn't choosing him anymore, he didn't know how to function. Friends close to him say he's been off, missing studio sessions, avoiding phone calls, barely eating. One even said he's been writing nonstop in his journal, pouring his feelings into pages no one will ever read. And while that might sound poetic, let's be honest, it's also tragically ironic. Because when he had her, he didn't write love notes. He wrote excuses. He didn't give her poetry. He gave her problems. Now suddenly, he's Shakespeare with a side of self-pity. But don't get it twisted, Scrappy isn't the only one playing the public heartbreak game. Some fans believe Bambi's silence is strategic, that she's letting him squirm, letting him realize what he lost before she even considers speaking. Others believe she's done for good and that her energy is no longer available for public consumption. Whatever the truth is, the internet can't get enough. Every post, every like, every unfollow is dissected like a crime scene. And just when the drama couldn't possibly get any thicker, another twist was brewing right beneath the surface. The twist came not from a public outburst or a cryptic Instagram post, but from a quietly leaked audio recording that hit the blogs like a digital grenade. It was Scrappy, on the phone with an unnamed friend, venting about everything from Bambi's silence to Mama D's interference to his own crumbling image. His voice cracked in parts, desperate and drenched in regret. "Man, I don't even recognize myself no more," he said in the clip. "I wake up and the house feel empty. It ain't even a home. It's just a place now." And just like that, the internet exploded. Fans were now convinced this wasn't just a stunt or a messy ploy for attention. This was a man truly unraveling, at the seams. But still, many couldn't forget the history. Scrappy hadn't exactly been a model partner. The cheating rumors, the emotional distance, the times he let Mama D run wild through their marriage like it was a royal court and Bambi was just some peasant. The truth is, the damage had been done over years, not weeks, and no amount of poetic rambling could erase that kind of history. Still, the rawness in his voice made people pause. Because while he may have built the stage for the drama, it looked like he was now drowning in the very spotlight he'd always chased. And yet, Bambi said nothing. No denials, no confirmations, no acknowledgement of the audio clip whatsoever. She was spotted at a charity gala 2 nights after the leak, smiling, poised, dressed in a sleek white gown with not a single sign of turmoil. She was the picture of elegance and composure. And that image, her glowing while Scrappy crumbled, became the meme that defined the scandal. Social media ran wild with it. One side called her a queen, the other called her cold. But Bambi, she just kept moving. And if that didn't make Scrappy spiral harder, nothing did. Behind the scenes, insiders claimed Scrappy had been trying to get producers to set up a reunion special, hoping for some kind of televised redemption arc. But Bambi reportedly declined. She wasn't interested in public therapy or rehashing old wounds for entertainment. Her silence wasn't just a lack of response, it was a boundary. And that's what made it hit even harder. But Scrappy wasn't done pleading. Not even close. He took to social media once again, this time posting a carousel of photos him and Bambi through the years. The caption, a single sentence, "You'll always be my heart." Fans were divided. Some flooded the comments with heart emojis and pleas for reconciliation. Others warned him to leave her alone and stop romanticizing dysfunction. Still, the post went viral, racking up over 100,000 likes in less than a day. The public was locked in, watching the unraveling like it was a season finale. And then, just when the timeline started to settle, another bombshell dropped. An anonymous tip landed in the inbox of a gossip blogger, claiming that Scrappy had spent thousands trying to win Bambi back. Gifts, flowers, customized jewelry, even a private chef dinner sent to her home. But here's the kicker: she didn't show up. According to the source, Bambi politely declined every attempt, stating through a mutual friend that peace was more valuable than closure. And that statement alone sent shockwaves through the fandom. Because it wasn't petty. It wasn't dramatic, it was powerful. For once, the silence wasn't passive. It was loud and intentional. Meanwhile, Scrappy's mental state seemed to be slipping further. In another late-night livestream, he appeared disheveled, talking to fans like they were old friends in a bar. "I know y'all clowning me," he said, "but y'all don't get it. That woman loved me when I ain't even love myself. You don't just get over that." It was unfiltered. It was messy. It was painfully real. But the question remained, now. Why the sudden burst of emotion? The grand gestures? The social media parade of regret? Some speculated that Scrappy had finally hit rock bottom and was trying to climb out with whatever dignity he had left. Others believed it was all strategic, a calculated move to shift the public narrative in his favor. Because let's not forget, his music career hadn't exactly been soaring. And what better way to make headlines than a public heartbreak with an iconic love and hip-hop twist? But not everyone was buying it. Some fans began digging into timelines, pointing out inconsistencies. They noticed that the posts about Bambi conveniently ramped up right after Scrappy's last project underperformed. Coincidence? Maybe, or maybe not. One fan tweeted, "He's not crying because he lost her. He's crying because he lost the attention." And that sentiment started gaining traction. Because as much as people sympathized with a broken man in love, they couldn't ignore the possibility that this was just another chapter in a long book of manipulation. Still, the emotional roller coaster continued. Mama D went on a radio interview and flat out said she was praying for their reunion. Calling Bambi the daughter-in-law she never stopped loving. She hinted that she'd spoken to Scrappy about getting professional help and even floated the idea of family counseling. But when asked if Bambi had responded to any of it, Mama D's answer was chillingly simple. She's done. And maybe, that's what hurt the most. Not the public rejection, not the unanswered messages, but the finality of it all. Because for the first time, Scrappy was pouring out his soul with no safety net, no cameras to save him, no producer to redirect the scene, no dramatic music to soften the fall. Just a man, broken and alone, realizing far too late what he let slip away. And as he spiraled publicly, Bambi rose quietly. Every move she made was calculated, graceful, and rooted in healing. She was showing the world that you could leave chaos behind without ever throwing a punch. That you could protect your peace and still love someone from a distance. And that kind of power. That's what people felt in their bones. But the public wasn't done speculating. With every post, every event, every interview, people searched for clues. Had Bambi truly moved on? Was she seeing someone new? Would Scrappy ever get another chance? The questions were endless, and the answers weren't coming. But the silence, it said everything. It said that the story was shifting. That maybe the chapter on heartbreak had already ended for Bambi, even if Scrappy was still stuck on the same page. And as fans clung to hope or closure or chaos depending on whose side they were on, the reality was starting to set in. Sometimes, love stories don't end with forgiveness. Sometimes they end with growth, and distance, and learning to let go. But Scrappy wasn't ready for that, not yet. Because in his heart, this wasn't the end. It was just the intermission, before the big comeback. And whether it was real or delusional, he was holding on to that hope with both hands. Even if it was slipping through his fingers like water. Just when the internet thought Lil Scrappy had reached his emotional breaking point, He doubled down, proving that when it comes to heartbreak in the public eye, there are no limits to how messy, vulnerable, and wildly unpredictable it can get. The man who once prided himself on being the king of crunk and the unshakable force of Atlanta rap was now clinging to memories like lifelines. Late-night studio sessions turned into confessionals, filled with half-written verses, unfinished beats, and lyrics that sounded more like apologies than bars. One unreleased track, leaked by a studio intern with sticky fingers, revealed Scrappy begging for just one more conversation. The hook hit like a brick. "I ain't perfect, but I'm real. You the only love I feel, / if this pain don't kill me first, I swear I'll change." For real. It wasn't polished. It wasn't slick. It was raw, desperate, and dripping with regret. Fans didn't know whether to root for him or send him a self-help book, but they listened. And that was all Scrappy needed to convince himself that he still had a chance. Meanwhile, Bambi was booked and busy, seen at events across Atlanta and beyond, radiating confidence and a peace that no amount of Instagram lives could touch. Her glow was unmistakable, and every public appearance served as a silent declaration that she was moving on. Thriving even, in a world where she no longer had to clean up someone else's chaos. But the public wasn't ready to let go of the drama. Every time Bambi posted a motivational quote or a cryptic message, blogs lit up with speculation. Was it about Scrappy? Was she missing him? Was there hope for reconciliation? She gave nothing. No confirmations, no denials, just a level of restraint that was foreign in a world of clout-chasing confessions. Scrappy, on the other hand, was all in his feelings, and the desperation was beginning to show in new ways. He was spotted outside a venue where Bambi was scheduled to attend a private dinner. He wasn't on the guest list. He wasn't invited. He was just there, waiting in the parking lot, according to a security guard who later spilled the tea anonymously to a local blogger. Scrappy allegedly waited for over an hour before finally leaving when it became clear that Bambi had already entered through a private entrance and wasn't coming back out to talk. The man who once had VIP access to her life was now stuck outside the door, literally and metaphorically. And still, he didn't stop. He released another song, this one fully mixed and mastered, where the cover art was a shadowy silhouette of a woman with long hair walking away from a burning heart. Subtle. Not at all. The lyrics were full of regret, referencing specific fights, birthdays missed, promises broken, and dreams shattered. "I took you for granted, now I'm the one abandoned," he rapped, his voice heavy with emotion. The track climbed local charts fast, but fans were split. Was it genuine, or was it a cleverly disguised publicity stunt? At the same time, whispers started circulating that Scrappy was being approached by streaming platforms to do a tell-all documentary. The angle, redemption, heartbreak, and the cost of fame. Cameras were reportedly spotted following him to therapy, studio sessions, and yes, even his lonely walks through places he used to visit with Bambi. It was giving scripted sadness. But what made it even more complicated was the rumored involvement of Mama D, who was allegedly in talks to narrate portions of the documentary herself. The idea sent social media into overdrive. People joked that she'd turn the heartbreak saga into a royal tragedy with titles like The Queen's Son, A Love Lost. But behind all the sarcasm, people were genuinely curious. Would Scrappy actually go through with it? Would Bambi ever break her silence? The tension between what was real and what was performative had never been blurrier. Bambi, for her part, remained committed to her path. She launched a new business line, participated in several women's empowerment panels, and started working with nonprofits focused on single mothers and domestic peace, without ever mentioning Scrappy's name. She was telling the world a much deeper story, one about rebuilding from the ground up, about reclaiming identity, and about knowing your worth even when the world tries to rewrite your narrative. Still, the curiosity around them never faded. One blurry photo of them attending the same industry event reignited the entire internet. They weren't standing together. They weren't even looking at each other. But that one frame sparked thousands of comments. Are they back? Did they talk? Was this the moment? Scrappy said nothing. Bambi said even less. But the silence was no longer sad. It was powerful. It was mature. And in many ways, it said more than any song or social media post ever could. Insiders close to Bambi claimed she had found peace and had no intention of reopening old wounds. One friend even stated, she gave him more chances than she gave herself. This time, she's choosing her. And for once, even Scrappy seemed to be listening. Though he still posted the occasional cryptic message, the frequency slowed. the desperation faded. And slowly, very slowly, reality started sinking in. This wasn't a storyline. This wasn't a music video. This was real life. And in real life, sometimes the love of your life moves on without fanfare, without closure. Without you. The heartbreak didn't vanish overnight. Scrappy still had moments where he'd get choked up during interviews, where the mention of Bambi would change the entire mood of the room. But he began shifting focus back to his daughter, his music, and his healing. And while he never publicly said the chapter was closed, he stopped trying to write more pages without Bambi's permission. As for Bambi, her silence became a badge of honor, a mark of strength. She had survived public humiliation, betrayal, and emotional exhaustion and came out of it shining. Her story resonated with women everywhere who had stayed too long, given too much, and finally walked away, not because they stopped loving but because they started loving themselves more. It became clear that this wasn't just a breakup story. This was a story of transformation. Of a man learning, far too late, what he had. And of a woman discovering that losing him wasn't the end, it was the beginning of something far greater. The fans, once obsessed with the idea of them reuniting, slowly shifted their attention elsewhere. New scandals emerged, fresh tea was spilled, and the world kept spinning. But for those who had been there from the start, who had followed every twist, every tear, every post, they knew this story would always be legendary, not because of the drama, but because of the raw, human truth behind it all. The truth that sometimes love isn't enough. That sometimes growth hurts more than heartbreak. And that silence, when chosen wisely, can echo louder than any public apology ever could. So, what do you think? Was Lil Scrappy's emotional breakdown a genuine cry from a man finally realizing what he lost, or just another performance in the never-ending reality show of celebrity heartbreak? Did Bambi do the right thing by staying silent, focused, and building her empire without looking back? Or should she have at least responded, if not for Scrappy, then for the millions watching and waiting for some kind of closure? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Team Bambi or Team Scrappy? Can love survive betrayal and distance, or are some chapters better left closed for good? And if you thought this story was messy, buckle up, because the world of hip-hop and Hollywood never sleeps. Make sure you hit that like button if you felt the emotions. Share this video if you know someone who's ever cried over their ex at 2 a.m. And smash that subscribe button so you don't miss the next jaw-dropping expos. Don't forget to turn on post notifications, because you never know when another scandal will hit. Stay tuned for more explosive stories, twisted love sagas, and emotional roller coasters from the lives of your favorite celebrities. This ride is far from over.